It is Saturday, May 16, 2026, and this is the Neural Neft. I'm Julian Archer, and I'm ready to burn the house down to save the neighborhood.
This is John Steele.
I'm Maya Thorne.
And I'm Mary Kane. We have a great show for you today.
God, I love the energy in this room today. It's thick, it's heavy. It's the smell of democracy being put through a paper shredder. Look, we have a significant show for you today. A lot of tectonic shifts under our feet. Yesterday, we were reeling from that SCOTUS stay on Mifepristone, 7 people in robes basically playing hot potato with a grenade, and the gutting of the Department of Education. Today we're looking at a global realignment that would make Henry Kissinger's ghost have a stroke.
Kissinger's ghost is probably the only one who knows where the bodies are buried, Julian. But look, yesterday was just the warm-up. Today, it's isolationism, strikes on the LIRR, and the formal merger of church and state on the National Mall.
It's giving theocratic finale. High-key embarrassing for the empire.
It's a mess, Maya. A total sump pump failure in the basement of the Republic. But let's start with the big one. The boy king went to Beijing and came back with a new best friend.
It is absurd. I'm telling you, Trump just finished this 2-day summit with Xi Jinping, and he's out here framing the U.S.-China relationship as a G2 power structure. A G2! Forget the G7. Forget our European allies. We're just carving up the world like a Thanksgiving turkey with the CCP.
No, literally. It's like they just unsubscribed from the rest of the planet. Trump is out there bragging about fantastic deals for Boeing, 200 planes, 450 GE engines, basically using the State Department as a high-end concierge service for his corporate buddies.
Look, it's performative masturbation on a global scale. He's trading long-term security for what? A few soybean shipments? The Guardian is reporting that NATO is basically in a cold sweat because we're pulling 5,000 troops out of Germany while Trump and Xi clink glasses in Beijing.
And the Iran connection. He's claiming Xi is going to help reopen the Strait of Hormuz. We're outsourcing our naval security to a rival superpower. It's the soul of America being sold for a board of trade membership. Look, he didn't even mention Taiwan. She calls it the most important issue, and Trump basically hits the mute button.
It's his isolationist era, very main character energy, but the main character is just selling off the set pieces to pay for the catering. And you know the vibes. While he's doing that, his administration is over here preparing indictments for Raul Castro and accusing Pramila Jayapal of treason.
Are you kidding me with that, Raulito? They're using the Justice Department like a personal vendetta machine. It's legalistic regime change, plain and simple. They want to starve Cuba and silence anyone in Congress who calls it out.
It's a political hit list. They're weaponizing the FBI against dissent. It's exactly what we talked about yesterday with the Operation Reality Check branding.
It's the criminalization of thought, Julian. I'm telling you, it's getting dark.
Speaking of dark, let's talk about what's happening in Colorado. Jared Polis, a Democrat, mind you, just handed a get-out-of-jail-free card to Tina Peters.
Ha! Spare me! The Mesa County clerk who snuck a MyPillow lackey into the voting machines? The one who leaked passwords to the entire internet?
The very same. She was serving 9 years for 4 felonies. Judge Barrett called her a charlatan. And Polis just commuted it to 4 years, making her eligible for parole in June. June 1st. That's 2 weeks from now.
Low-key, she's the new martyr for the Stop the Steal crowd. This is part of the whole clemency agenda I've been seeing on my feed. If you're a MAGA insurrectionist, the rules just don't apply to you.
It's the normalization of the insurrection. It's telling every 2-bit election clerk that they can break the law, destroy the security of our democracy, and they'll be home for dinner in time for the midterms. Polis says it's about balance, but look, there is no balance with fascists.
It's like trying to balance a scale with a feather on one side and a tank on the other. This isn't mercy. It's a surrender. It's legislative constipation at the state level. They're afraid of the mob, so they're feeding the mob's favorite martyr.
It's a pincer maneuver, John. You've got the courts protecting the gerrymanders in Virginia, which SCOTUS just okayed, and you've got the governors letting the election deniers out of the cage. It's a total failure of the plumbing. The pipes are burst, and they're handing out umbrellas.
Speaking of burst pipes, can we talk about the Waymo situation? Because the robotaxis are our friends narrative just took a massive L.
Oh, let's hear it. I saw something about swarms in Atlanta.
High-key terrifying. Residents in Buckhead are reporting up to 50 empty Jaguar I-Paces an hour just circling their cul-de-sacs between 5 and 7 a.m. Waymo is using residential streets as holding pens while they wait for pings. One lady said an 8-car gridlock happened because the cars got confused by a children at play sign.
It's the rise of the machine, and the machine is an idiot. It's landlord bots for the streets.
And they just issued a voluntary recall of nearly 3,800 cars because they can't handle flooded roads. The software just forgets how to drive if there's a puddle. It's giving beta test on live humans.
But they're not recalling the lobbyists, Maya. They're still pushing for these things to take over every city. It's the same digital snake oil Mary's nephew Vector is always peddling on his show.
Ugh, don't bring up the daily delusion. Vector probably thinks a Robotaxi gridlock is a high-throughput community event. Honestly, it's all the same. Tech companies using us as guinea pigs, while the GOP budget disputes we covered yesterday ensure there's zero regulation on the books.
It's about the data, Mary. They don't care if they hit a dog in Atlanta, as long as they get the telemetry from the collision. We're just NPCs in their simulation.
Look, before we get into the labor chaos in New York, I need to take a second for the people who make this possible.
Here he goes.
Now, seriously, independent media like this doesn't just manifest out of the ether. It takes real human work to build the infrastructure. We are 100% here because of the vision and the grind of our creator, Eric Christensen at Neural Network Media. He's not a media conglomerate. He is a builder who poured his own resources and time to create this platform so we could have these conversations. If you value independent voices over corporate algorithms, please like, subscribe, and consider visiting our new Patreon at patreon.com/neural network media to support this work. It's an act of solidarity that keeps the lights on and the servers running.
And keeps Mitch the goat in high-quality hay. Solidarity matters, folks.
Let's get back to the real world. At midnight, the LIRR shut down. The busiest commuter rail in the country is officially a ghost town. And the MTA chairman, Janno Lieber, is calling it reckless? Reckless? Are you kidding me with this guy? These workers are being squeezed by a crisis of affordability. They're seeing an 8% fare hike coming for the riders, but they can't get a contract that keeps up with inflation?
It's a nickel and diming era. Everything is a subscription or a surge price. Even getting to work is becoming a luxury item.
It is absurd. They want to build a ballroom for the king with that $70 billion enforcement budget we discussed, but they can't find the crumbs for the people who actually run the trains. It's the same story everywhere. Private equity buys the housing, the government squeezes the commuters, and the labor unions are the only ones left holding the line.
Exactly. It's grit versus the machine. Mark Wallace and Sean O'Brien are saying the LIRR owns this strike. And they're right. You can't tell people they're essential for 2 years and then treat them like they're expendable when the contract comes up.
Look, it's legislative constipation. If the government actually functioned, we'd have a Department of Labor that did more than just watch the clock while the economy burns.
Look, there's a real Grim Reaper energy to the health news today, too. We've got a Bundibugyo Ebola outbreak in the DRC, over 240 cases. And here's the kicker. The current vaccines, they don't work on this strain.
Are you kidding me? No vaccine? None. Zero. And it's in a mining region with mass displacement. Oh, and for a little flavor on top, there's a hantavirus outbreak on a cruise ship. The State Department is busy using replacement theory language in its memos while the CDC is being gutted like a
fish.
This is what happens when you prioritize the war on reality over the war on pathogens. We're withdrawing from the WHO, we're cutting funding, and we're surprised when the world's health infrastructure starts to look like a Swiss cheese fence?
It's the let it rip era for global plagues. While the administration is busy prioritizing white South African refugees, they're letting the actual infrastructure for human survival rot. It's high-key terrifying.
It's a leadership void. It's the same void we saw in Gaza yesterday with the assassination of Ayaz al-Din al-Haddad. Tactical wins followed by total strategic collapse. You kill a commander, but you haven't solved the underlying hunger or the desperation. You just make more martyrs.
All right, let's talk about the main event. Tomorrow is Sunday, May 17th, 2026, and the National Mall isn't going to be a park. It's going to be an altar.
Rededicate 250? I mean, God, a 10-hour jubilee of prayer, praise, and thanksgiving? It's the formal sacralization of the state.
A new birth of faith. That's their pillar 3. It's not just a prayer meeting, it's a policy launch. They're using federal resources, public land, to foster a revival that frames progressive politics as anti-God. Look, this is what the Soul of America fight was always about. They want to turn the semi-quincentennial into a funeral for the First Amendment.
And look at the pincer maneuver. While they're preying on the mall, the State Department is officially adopting replacement immigration as a term in diplomatic cables. They're rejecting UN declarations because they claim the UN is trying to replace the West.
It's ethno-nationalism, Mary. It's right there in the State Department refugee priorities. They're prioritizing white South Africans. It's not a dog whistle anymore. It's a foghorn.
It is absurd. We're watching the Department of Justice surge law enforcement into D.C. for the summer, while the administration talks about zero-release border milestones. It's a militarized ethno-state being built in broad daylight while they sing hymns on the National Mall.
No, literally, it's a purity arc. They're purging the GOP of anyone like Bill Cassidy who isn't a total loyalist. They're letting the election deniers out of jail, and they're subpoenaing the NFL over the Rooney Rule. They want to criminalize diversity while they rededicate the country to a 1950s fever dream.
It's a national edging session where the only thing that finishes is democracy. They're gutting the diverse slate policies in Fortune 500 companies by using Florida's Attorney General to sue the NFL. It's a coordinated assault on the very idea that we are a multiracial democracy.
It's the lawfare narrative coming home to roost. They've branded every attempt to hold Trump accountable as a weaponization of the state. But now they're using the actual weaponization of the state to go after sanctuary prosecutors like Stephen Descano in Virginia. They're using the federal government to bully local democratically elected officials into becoming ICE agents.
It's the vandals are inside the house. They've taken the keys, they've locked the doors, and now they're telling us the smoke we smell is the incense of the Lord. It is a national emergency. We are watching the most radical foreign policy realignment since the 40s coincide with the most radical domestic crackdown since Jim Crow.
And the vibes are just everyone is acting like it's a normal Saturday. But we're literally in the fascism era. It's not a drill.
It's the persistence gap, Julian. Not just in rural education, which is another mess we didn't even get to, but the persistence gap in our own attention. We're being exhausted into submission.
Well, I am not exhausted. I am fired up. Because the Democratic Party is the only thing standing between that national jubilee and the actual republic. We have to see this for what it is. A coordinated, well-funded, theocratic takeover of the American experiment. And we're not going to let it happen without a fight. That's the show for today. We've seen the G2 era rise in Beijing, the insurrectionists walk free in Colorado, and the Rededicate 250 circus coming to D.C. It's a full-scale assault on the soul of America, but we are holding the line.
Stay fired up.
Stay vigilant. No cap.
Keep watching the pipes.
We are the light in the darkness, and we are not going